You're recording.
Yes, I know.
I thought you were going to wait till we started.
It goes on automatically.
Oh. All right, everyone. Welcome to the latest installment of School Council Opportunities for Progress and Enrichment. This evening's presentation is going to be on civil discourse. And I guess we should introduce ourselves, shouldn't we, Ricardo? My name is Nancy Angevine Sands. I'm a parent and caregiver engagement consultant, vendor with the board, and am linking with the parent caregiver and community engagement office to support school councils in parent and caregiver engagement.
Yes, so my name's Ricardo Francis. I'm with the Parent Caregiver Community Engagement Office. I'm the school council and community liaison lead. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll begin with the land acknowledgement. The land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. I also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13, signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Williams Treaty, signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. Just a reminder that, as with all of our webinars, we're the meeting conduct and responsibilities for this evening will follow the TDSB online code of conduct, which involves respect for all, professional conduct and communications, including chat messages. We try to remember that privacy is paramount. Please do not mention your school's name or any staff names or your name. And we ask for your full compliance in all of these. Any contravention of the code of conduct will result in the immediate termination of this Zoom meeting. As I said, this evening's presentation is on civil discourse.
Oh, this is your slide.
Now that's you.
Okay. The art of the uncomfortable. And so what we're going to be discussing is turning, you know, those times when things aren't going the way we want and it creates a lot of friction. And we're going to change it into fuel and collaboration. And it's about building bridges across difference with curiosity, humility, and courage. So we're going to look at what the foundations are. Um, so it's a good title. Why bother with the hard stuff? Because this is really hard sometimes to do. It's having these conversations. So we know that disagreement matters. We know diversity of thought is valuable, but knowing it and knowing how are two different things. Today, we're going to discuss the how. It's about personal connections. This is a topic many of us have already engaged with. As we are privileged to have that opportunity with Randy, for some of us, I don't know, Randy Bogota as a guest speaker at the board, today's session builds upon that foundation. Okay, so one of the things that we tend to do, there's two goals of a conversation. One is to debate, one is to dialogue. The default many of the times for us is debate mode, but collaboration requires dialogue mode. It's a shift in mindset. It's kind of like me versus you to us versus the problem. This isn't about being nice, but it's about being effective. This is where we can achieve a principled debate, not just surface pleasantries. This distinction between politeness and real debate is something that Harvard Kennedy School article by Nora Delaney speaks to, and this will be in the resources later on that we'll be sharing with you. Okay, when we fail at conversations is when we get into these little silos. Like sometimes it's resentment, sometimes it's just gridlock, sometimes it's just an unwillingness. But when we want to succeed, we get innovation, stronger teams, and healthier communities. Just going to reiterate this. It's about when we are working together, we have this opportunity to invent and to inspire one another and to listen. When Randy Bagoda spoke about with us, he emphasized the crucial role that civil discourse plays within academic institutions specifically. He reminded us that by extension, our classroom and boards are places that have challenging ideas to be grappled with, not avoided. When Randy spoke to us, he emphasized the crucial role of civil discourse, and why it's so important. And so, when we think of a recent disagreement, we think to ourselves, what was the cost? And that means really, like, is there any benefit? What's the benefit as opposed to and as just switching it? Now, now think of when how we could have led to a better outcome. What made that difference to have that positive outcome? And we're going to discuss how this occurs further in the conversation.
So the next part of this webinar, we're going to look at a possible toolkit that you could use to help with this. And we're looking at 3 pillars of a transformative conversation. The first pillar is curiosity, which is the antidote to assumption. Certainty, as you probably know, certainty shuts down conversation. We're trying to talk with someone who is so certain that they're right, there is going to be no conversation. But if they're curious about what you're saying, about what you're telling them, or if you're curious about what you're hearing, that opens things up. When we're curious, we're not trying to trap the other person. We're trying to understand their map of the world. And so with curiosity, we look to move from why. Why are you doing that? Why do you say that? Really, why do you think that? To what? Tell me what about that? Or tell me more. Both of these questions invite an explanation, invite an answer to your curiosity. The second one is active listening, hearing beyond the words, listening to understand and not reply. Most of us listen with the intent to reply. I do this myself. I think it's one of my worst traits. I'm listening intently to someone. I'm listening to what they're saying, but I want to reply. I want to respond to it, either positively. Oh, yeah, that's right. You know what I did? But I'm not listening to understand. We're formulating our counter argument. We're formulating our response while the other person's talking. Active listening, however, means listening with the intent to understand. You're not listening to try to think of what you're going to say next or how you're going to respond to it. You're just listening to understand. Just listening, go, oh, okay, all right. I think I get that. I've tried this recently with one of my daughters, and it was really interesting. It worked. She also said, why are you saying that? Because she's so used to me responding. but it was really good. It was really good for me to just to listen and to say, "Oh, okay. Yeah," and thinking about it.
Yeah, I like the other thing is like also like just narrowing your focus onto the person as opposed to what's happening around you. You know, just keeping the focus on that person. Like,
And the third one is the key component. The third one to consider is the key components of listening. Give. Give the person you're speaking with your full attention. Withhold your judgment. Don't think, oh, that's wrong, or no, I didn't say that, or oh, what are you thinking that? Withhold that. Just listen to what they're saying. Reflect on what you've heard. And sometimes it means saying, so what I'm hearing you say is, and then responding back to them, not in a negative way, but in saying in a positive way. And this is what I hear you saying. Is that right? And then asking clarifying questions. If you're not quite sure what they mean or where they're coming from, or there's some aspect of what they said that you don't quite get, ask about it. Ask them to clarify what they mean.
okay. So this is very interesting when we talk about intellectual humility and this holding our views loosely. Is conviction with humility. I could be wrong, and we could both learn. So I'm going to speak to this is from oh whoa the Dr. Priya, and we have her reference in our notes at the end. But this is the whole idea of this is the disagreeing well skills being empowered in conversation. And we talk about differentiation, and what does that actually mean to us? It's kind of like maintaining a sense of self and perspective while in a conversation with others. It means being able to separate your own thoughts, as Nancy spoke earlier, and feelings and identity from the person you are disagreeing with, allowing you to engage without feeling overwhelmed or losing yourself in the conflict. The other one is self esteem. This is a big part of it because we hear our kids always say, I was disrespected. They disrespected me. Well, this is about entering into an agreement from a place of inner confidence and self worth. When you have a healthy level of self esteem, you are less likely to feel threatened by differing opinions. This security allows you to listen openly and express your own views with defensiveness or the need to win the argument. Now, the self-esteem one is kind of sometimes kind of difficult, especially when you're dealing with somebody that you feel you've had interaction with that haven't been positive, or they're like in a higher level of authority. But remember, you have a place too, and you have value, and so you exercise that. And now well, the other one is not having all the answers. One of the things we hear a lot of times is a know-it-all. The reason why the know-it-all is so aggravating is because they don't give our opportunity to listen and learn. So really about approaching conversations with intellectual humility and curiosity. This skill involves letting go of the need to be right and acknowledging that you might not have the full picture. It actually creates space for discovery and learning and finding solutions that neither party could have reached. And I'm going to talk about this quickly because when I'm working with young adults and some adults as well, and in a coaching role, it's sometimes when I'm having those conversations with them and I just put aside my thought and because sometimes the the first thought is they make something you think, oh my God, really? But then when you if you push that aside and think, let's go with this, let's see, let's explore this. And sometimes you really learn about something that you didn't even realize was an option or an opportunity. So, and then finally, oh, it's not even finally. It's number four, mutual respect. And this is valuing the person as a human being, regardless of this disagreement. This means generally being interested in understanding their perspective, experience, and reasons behind their views. It shifts the dynamic from a battle to shared exploration. Sometimes in school councils, people come up with ideas and we sit there and we think, oh my God, where's that coming from? But really try and figure out. Maybe they were asking for this presentation for a reason. Maybe it has deep meaning for them. Give them the opportunity to explain, and and then you both can understand through his shared exploration. And the final one is understanding is different to agreeing. And then and when this one is really funny for me when it comes to with my children, it's just like, oh yeah, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but that doesn't mean I'm agreeing to it. But I'm allowing you. I understand. So it's really recognize that you're deeply comprehending someone's point of view does not mean you have accepted it as your own. This skill helps to lower defenses as it measures both parties. The empathy does not require concession. And again, I'm going to repeat that. Empathy does not require concession. It allows for clarity and connection, even when consensus is impossible. Okay. Okay. One sec. We're going to do the pizza now. Okay, so actually, I just going to introduce this for everybody. We're we're just doing a practice in terms of showing what consensus can look like, in a disagreement.
So, Ricardo, I was thinking after the webinar tonight, what if we order a pizza?
That sounds good.
Oh, great. You'd like one?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. So I'm going to order a large pizza with pepperoni and pineapple.
pineapple.
Yeah, pineapple.
Oh. What do you like about pineapple?
Oh, you've never had a pizza with pineapple on it? Oh, Cardo, you haven't lived. It's so good. You've got the spicy part from the pizza, from the pepperoni, and a little bit from the tomato sauce, maybe depending on where you order it from. And then the pineapple just cuts through it with a little bit of sweetness and cuts through the spice and just adds another layer, another layer to the pizza. Just makes it great.
Could it be possible that we could have the pizza without fruit on it?
Pizza without, well, I'm not asking for a pile of fruit. I just suggested pineapple. It's really good.
You know, I've never had. I've got to be honest. I've never had pizza with pineapple. Um,
Okay.
but you know what? I'm willing to give it a try. But
All right. Good for
yeah,
you. I'm sure you'll love it.
yeah. But why don't we do this? Can we just
Okay.
like have half a pizza with pepperoni and
Yeah.
pineapple, and the other half with like pepperoni and red peppers?
Half the pizza with pepperoni and pineapple, and half the pizza with pepperoni and peppers.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll take one half and you'll have the other half.
Or you could. Have you ever had pepperoni with peppers?
With red peppers?
Yeah.
No, the spicy red peppers?
No, no, the ones, the green, red, and yellow.
The regular red peppers?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I have. I don't think
So
I have.
what? Uh, so why
Yeah.
don't I try one of your pepperoni and pineapples, and you
Yeah.
could try the red pepper.
Well, all right. I'm open to that. You'll be open-minded about the pineapple?
Oh yes, yeah. I gotta try new things every once in a while. Be a little
Okay. And I'll be open-minded about the red pepper.
fantastic. And
Okay,
maybe
so
next time
yeah.
we can have a pizza without any pepperoni, and maybe just like red pepper, mushrooms, onions. Like one of those vegetarian pizzas.
Well, that's not a bad idea, although we could build towards that slowly.
Okay. Well,
Okay, I'll
I
order a
hope
large
I
pizza.
just put in your order for us. Thank
I'll
you.
order a large pizza with pepperoni and red peppers on one side and pepperoni and pineapple on the other. Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, everyone. That was just an example of being curious as to why they like something and just understanding and then coming up with some sort of agreement at the end. The reality being, I didn't even want pepperoni. I really wanted just a vegetarian pizza, but I compromised. Okay, so we're going to talk about a simple framework for dialogue, the 3+3 framework. So one of the things is what is our mindset when we go to a conversation? It's really about checking our intent. Am I trying to win or understand? Am I coming with pre preconceived assumptions? What am I assuming about this person? And this is a funny. The something is very funny. People talk about being in sales, and when somebody comes through the door, they think, "Oh, if that's going to be is that a valued customer, or what they would call a flake? Those persons that they think are just coming in to waste their time." Sometimes they've got the whole thing all mixed up as to who is who. So those are when the whole thing about assumptions. So we just got to keep focused on not assuming about that person by the way they look or speak or anything else. And check your body, like um, like especially if you're an intimidating person and you seem to be like you seem very closed off or defensive, really check that your body, relax yourself. And this is actually that relaxation can come through breathing. Just taking a deep breath to relax yourself, especially if you feel that tension in your body that will lead you to be defensive. And the other thing is the three moves. And it's one, clarify. And can you tell me more about this is the curiosity about what you mean. Just delving into what that person is actually trying to share with you. The other one is to acknowledge, and that is about I hear that this is important to you, and ask the why. Why is it important? Why is it important to you? And so if they're coming to the table with something like I want to do a fun fair, it's what the why, like what why is this important to do the fun fair, and then finally find the end. And this is kind of a instead of or but, because the but my wife always, once I say but, everything I've said is gone. It completely like devalues it. So what you say, I see it differently because of my experience with X, and I understand why it's important to you. And then you continue on that conversation. Why is it important to you? And then you can also speak to when you're talking about the why is important to you. You can also speak to how this thing can occur, what strategies can be involved, or how you can really engage with that person in terms of, hey, you know what? I hear what you're saying, and let's look at possible opportunities here. Okay, so bringing it home, courage, the next steps, the courage to stay. And this is one of the things, too, that is a really important part. Although sometimes when we feel that things aren't going the right way, we have we feel that we must flee. But the most important ingredient to courage is the courage to stay in the conversation when every instinct in you tells you to walk away or raise your voice or shut down. Civil discourse is the act of courage. It also a practice. None of us will get it perfect all the time. I could speak to that because sometimes, especially when you have it's an emotional conversation or someone that you've known for a long time or you've had interactions with over the years, we sometimes bring all that negativity into the conversation. But the goal is to get a little better, to be more curious, a little more humble, a little more willing to listen than we were yesterday. And the final connection that Randy Boyagoda speaks to is this idea of courage that ties all of Randy's work together. You'll see it in his TED talk, thinking loud together, and that's also going to be in our resources. He shows us that future of our institutions and workplaces and our community strongly depends on this. And we saw that when we join into different models. We see this when we join into different models that, you know what, if we don't work together, things will not happen. Okay, and I'm just going to open the floor to anybody who has any questions at this time or wants to actually take the opportunity to do a demonstration with us. We could do one with you as well. So, is there any questions at this time?
While they're thinking of things, you were saying something, Ricardo, that reminded me of a chart that I saw that said that we have to be aware that the way people communicate is there's three ways people communicate: the words they use, how they are speaking, and their body language. And the words they use is the smallest percentage of how they communicate. So in a school council meeting, when you're having a discussion about something, it's always a good idea to look at the person while you're listening to what they're saying, but also be aware of what's their body language. Are they tense, or are they open and happy? Are they, as they speak, are they stumbling as they speak, or are they speaking clearly? So it's not just about what they're saying, it's about how they say it. So it's not
Yeah.
just about civil discourse, isn't just about how we speak, but it's how we take in everything that the other person is trying to share with us.
Yeah, and that's a big thing that you spoke to is the whole thing about the body language. Um, More so also seeing how that person is speaking. You know, like I've been in situations where you could see a person is talking to another person and they're tearing up, but the other person fails to recognize it because they're in their mind in terms of possibly how they're going to respond to the question, or they're in their mind thinking, you know what, I don't really care what you have to say, so I'm not really going to focus on it anyway. So your tears aren't going to bother me. These are kind of the things that when we're having these conversations with individuals is really focusing on how they're speaking. And the other thing too is how we speak too. Nancy spoke about language. So in the board we have a tendency to use all these acronyms. Well, you know what? Um, People outside of the board don't understand them. So it's like don't use language that you feel that the individual um, is not going to understand, or language that you feel you just want to be try and be, how could I be, um, emphasize your education. You speak it to, if you really want to communicate people, you speak at the level that they're at. And that's the other thing. And one of the things that I have a big problem with is cadence, and that is the speed to which we speak. And sometimes I have a tendency to speak really quickly, and therefore it makes people very difficult to catch up. One of the things I learned in terms of speaking too quickly is, imagine if you're speaking that somebody actually has to write it down. So if you keep that in mind, you'll start to slow your speech down. So those are just methods to be able to slow your speech down. And the other thing that comes to mind is how we sometimes, um, especially like because we do this in Zoom, is the distractions around us, the focus and the things that are happening around us. I think it's especially hard when we're in a Zoom because there's all sorts of things. Like I've got my phone here, I've got some books here, I've got a bag of chips here. There's all these things that are around me that I can focus on, but it's just a matter on a Zoom, especially um, to be focused on the conversation at hand and to avoid those distractions around you. So these are some of the things that we as in order to have a engaging conversation is actually listening to the other person and actually enjoying that conversation. And I could give you another example, like because I said earlier that I work with youth at times, and these kids are in a couple of little bad things, but sometimes they can go off on me, and I'm like, but the thing is like I don't sit there and say, oh, don't use that language. Because they know it's inappropriate, and they know that they shouldn't be saying it in the way they are. But I let them go because I want to hear what the frustration may be, and then I will correct them. But during that time, I'm actually listening to what is being said, even if it is with some very colorful language. But it's just giving people that opportunity to have that. And so even when we have those incidents in school council where someone will go out, we got to remind them, yes, of that we're here to listen and to use an appropriate language, but we also should allow people to vent at times. And when I'm saying that, I'm also hearing other people saying to me, "Oh yeah, well, they could go on forever." Yes, there's a time and place, and sometimes you have to say to them, "Hey, you know what? We're going to have to talk about this at a later date." But the other thing, if you're going to say to somebody this is something we're going to discuss. One of the things you also got to do is to provide them with a date. When is this going to occur? Because otherwise, it just sounds like you're just blowing them off. So that's what I'll do. I'll say, yes, you know what, we can discuss this. Would tomorrow be better at such and such a time? Or the other thing too, if it's a situation where I do not feel comfortable, I may say, hey, listen, would it be okay if Nancy comes with me and with this conversation, because I'm clearly not getting what you're saying, and maybe Nancy could shine some light on help me understand what you're trying to share with me at this time. So these are some of the things that we can speak to.
Um, 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 Ricardo, there haven't been any questions come in, but I wondered, we've all sat at school council meetings where there has started to be an uncomfortable conversation. And I wonder if anybody would like to share that experience that they had. Unfortunately, it would have to be, you'd have to put it in the Q&A because we don't have the option for people to speak, correct?
Yes, we do.
We do?
Yep. We do have
Okay.
that option. If people raise their hand and want to speak, yes, we do have that option for them to
So if
speak.
they push the raise the hand button at the bottom, they can?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you've had a situation at your school council where there's started to be an uncomfortable conversation, and looking back, you don't know, you're looking for suggestions of how it could have been handled better, or if you've had an uncomfortable conversation and it's worked out okay, and you'd like to share that with us, just push the raise your hand button at the bottom. Um, or if you have a question, you can put it in the Q&A that's at the bottom. I'm thinking of an example. I'll try to say it quickly. I went in to help a school council a few years ago with a very disruptive parent. And looking back, I think that we all went in with the intention of shutting him down. Because of past behaviors, he didn't follow the board. He wasn't following the board's code of conduct in any way. But I think that providing some of the things that we've discussed this evening in saying, well, tell me a bit more about what you're feeling. Tell me a bit more about where you think this council should go. Or I'm trying to understand what you think has happened in the past that hasn't met with your understanding of what council should do. I think that that would have been a far more successful way of dealing with the conflict that was occurring in that council and that occurred around the table that evening. So that's my example.
Yeah.
Here's a question: dealing with conflict between co-chairs not agreeing with each other. Any suggestions? That's a great one. Ricardo, do you want to take that one or?
Absolutely. So the first of the one of the things that I speak to when we're having those conversations with others is really trying to determine as to what the goal is and what is the intention around the conversation. And so speaking to those individuals and saying to them, hey, listen, I hear what you hear what you're saying, but can you provide further clarity? Uh, and then also saying, well, I understand sometimes we understand what you're saying as a group between the co-chairs, but is this something that is actually feasible, and walking through those steps as to whether or not this is something that is feasible. And sometimes and when you speak about the arguments between co-chairs around that, it's sometimes it's like it's about like the logistics or the where, what, and how. Like, how is this going to occur? what is needed for this to occur, especially sometimes because they're having conversations. We're gonna do something like uh, a job fair, but it will require. So it's just a matter of being able to your present to the other individual how the process is going to occur, and sometimes the why behind it. And so to give those people the opportunity, and I know sometimes people just get stuck. I've had that situation where, you know what, the person is stuck in terms of what they want to do. They're not willing to give that opportunity for them to listen or to hear or to for us to share. And sometimes it's, you know what, it's sometimes best instead of having that confrontation back and forth. Let's, you know what, I hear what you're saying. I'm going to give it some thought. I think we need to think about it. Maybe we could share some of our ideas online, and via email or something, just to kind of like, because you don't want to escalate the conversation, and sometimes even ourselves, even myself, I'm going to say, um, I'm just, you know what, isn't a good day for me, and maybe I'm not thinking rational. There's other things that are going on in around me, so it may be best that I don't have that conversation. It's just kind of like when I sometimes you're getting home from work or whatever, and your day has not been good. That is not the time to be discussing with your child as to how they're doing in school, especially if they're not doing well, because that may turn out to be very not a very nice conversation, because that emotion that you're bringing to that emotion and negativity that you're bringing is going to filter through in those conversations. So I hope that helps your question.
And I would add that in previous webinars this year, we have talked about um, engagement just on a basic form, and how engagement begins with relationship building and with trust. And sometimes on school councils, we don't take the time to build relationships with each other. We're so busy. We've got a lot of stuff going at home and at school, and getting the and two chairs, co-chairs, getting the council going and making sure you're handling and everything right. And then if a disagreement comes up, if you're looking at it this way and they're looking at it that way, it's really hard. And sometimes it's about, even now, even though it's March, it's not too late. It's about stepping back and just going for a coffee, sitting and talking about how your weekend was, sharing some funny parenting thing that happened, just building that relationship between each other, so that some level of trust can come about. Failing that, the other thing is, as Ricardo said earlier on, is sometimes if you're having a discussion with somewhere and it's not going together, bringing in a third party, that can work between co-chairs too. Either speaking together with the principal, and have maybe letting the principal know ahead of time, look, we're disagreeing on this. Can we, the three of us, work it through? Or just coming together with all of your executive and your executive discussing stuff, and working it out together as a group. Sometimes you get too many spoons in the pot. It doesn't make the soup any better. But there's different options and different things that you could try. But I would start again with making sure that your relationship outside of the business of council is based on trust.
Yeah, and actually, when you brought that up, and it's kind of, I'm just seeing here, people probably think, oh, this is ironic that you're saying this. Is the other thing, during the Zoom calls, I've been to school council meetings where I've gotten in the Zoom call and I can't see anybody. Um, and that is very, it's kind of difficult for me in terms of having that one-to-one conversation with them because I can't see their expression and or anything of that nature. So that's why, in terms of like when a school council meets together, I know at times it may not be for some people that they have things going on in the background that and they need their privacy or that is fine, but to try encourage being able to turn on your cameras and have those conversations, especially like when you have those school council meetings and you have the school community. It'd be nice for the community to know who their school council is. So, that's another option. I don't know if that's um, built if that is a trust thing, but I think for me it's a wholesome thing to be able to see those people that I'm talking to. Anything else in the Q&A, Nancy?
Nope.
Okay. So, I'm just gonna bring up a poll question. Just one moment, please. Just gonna launch it now. And you have a 1 minute to speak to it, and then we're just going to go into the rest of our presentation. Does everybody see it? You see it, Nancy, the poll?
Yeah, I can see it. And
Okay,
I think
perfect.
we should say that your answers are anonymous.
Oh yes, absolutely, yes. So thank everybody for their feedback. Um, I'm just going to end the poll, and I have one additional question. Like a lot of you had said that you were aware of this topic before, and just because this is an opportunity. If there's other things you'd like to discuss regarding the civil discourse, or just having conversations. We don't even have to use the word civil. Just having conversations with either your principal or your um, other school council members, we can also go there. Otherwise, we can move on with the presentation and speak to the fantastic resources that we have available to you. Um, and so I'll just get, do you see anything in the Q&A, Nancy? Oh, you're muted. Nancy, you're muted.
Just it helps with discourse if someone is muted. No. uh, just someone saying how helpful it was.
No, no, no. Thank you. Okay, so these are the resources that we're sharing. Nancy, you're gonna can you please put them in the
Mm,
Q&A so people can access them there as well.
yeah.
So the one is for those of you who may not be able to see the screen, is thinking out loud together. Why civil discourse matters on campus, and this is by Randy Boyagoda. And that is a fantastic YouTube that you can watch, as well as Disagreeing Well series, Being Empowered in Conversation. This is a fantastic opportunity. It just gives you ways of being able to converse. It's a whole series put on, and it's by Mia Forbes Piri, which is Pirie. That's a fantastic one as well. And the other one is For the Sake of an Argument. And this is by Nora Delaney of Harvard Kennedy. Yeah, these are really helpful resources. I've uh, um, really
Ricardo,
found them very helpful. Hmm?
I'm sorry, the program won't allow me to put it in Q&A, and obviously I can't put it in chat. But if you screen,
No, no, actually,
everyone,
one second. You know what? No, one second. I will.
if you
Uh,
sc- if the participants did a screenshot of this page, the screen, then they could later go in and find it.
just one second. Just going back. Oh boy. Yes, yeah, they could find it. Yes, my apologies. I will put this on our the school council um web page under tools and resources. I will have a section for civil discourse, and this information will be available there. So when you go tomorrow to school council, um, TDSB School Council, you'll see a section which is a PDF that has resources for school council, and I'll have that information there for you. Our apologies for not being able to transfer it. Okay, so it's an early night, and we really appreciate you um, coming to this presentation, and we hope that you'll be able to use some of these what you've learned in um, in your conversations at school council and elsewhere. And also that you take a look at the resources. They're very uh, uh, quick videos. One's an actual series. The one with me up for Piri is a actual series of I believe it's five or six short YouTube videos. Just a tremendous opportunity. And the other thing too is this is being recorded and it will be on our YouTube channel. And you can also share this information with others in terms of the resources we share. In a nice way, like so maybe you should look at this. But yes,
Ricardo, is there not another resources page?
no, no, there's not
Oh,
another
okay. I
resource
thought you had
page.
another.
And the reason for that resource page is because some of those things were not approved by the TDSB.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
so I had to go and I found them helpful, but they are not approved by the TDSB. Therefore, I'm unable to share them. All right. So, and anyway, I wish that bid everyone a good night, and I thank you for coming with us. If you have any questions or any comments that you wish to share with us, you can also go to the school council TDSB School Council webpage, and there's a section there that you can put any queries, any asks, any comments in there, and we'll reply to them. Otherwise, I'm just going to actually share our contact information. Well, that's what I spoke about. That. Oh, actually, please scan the QR code as well, because that will help you get to our school council webpage. Just going to give everybody a moment to do that. Get their phones for those who are on another device other than their phones. Okay, and finally, there's our contact information. Again, I'm Ricardo Francis with the Parent Caregiver Community Engagement Office, and Nancy Angevine Sands. She's our consultant with Equal Steps, and you can contact either of us in regards to this presentation or other school council matters. Nancy?
I think we've proven that civil discourse is not only helpful and important, but it also takes less time than a lot of other things. It's being our shortest webinar so far.
Yeah, actually, true
Thank you to
enough.
all of you for all that you do and for coming to these webinars.
Thank you. And we have another one coming up. Oh, is it? Oh boy. Please look on our on the school council on our school council webpage, and the workshops are there. Just drawing a blank. I knew what the date was, but it's coming up. So and the other thing too, for a lot of the school councils, and this is one of our most important webinars, is that we're doing in May, is on succession planning, what to do to wrap up a school council. So please stay tuned for that. And I wish all those who were successful in terms of the school council innovation grant, please get your spend that money, get your presenters, and really take that opportunity to really um, have a robust presentation for your school community. All right. So anyway, everybody, good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.
Done.